I have got my base coat done, and you can see I've got my circle shows up a little bit. Now I'm gonna take this circle and I'm just going to draw very lightly around it. And I'm gonna come down. It's almost like I'm making the number 6. And I'm gonna come up to the top and off the page. So it's almost like I just have this big number 6 with my circle right in the middle, right there. If you'd like to, at this point, you can go ahead and put a coat of white on your circle in the middle. That's gonna be your earth. And if you go ahead and put a coat of white, then that will just kind of mark that off visually for you so that you know where that world is and you won't put any other color off of it, or over it, sorry. So I'm gonna just quickly paint that, give that one coat of white. We'll probably end up giving it another coat of white just to get it neutral before we paint the continents and the oceans on it. All right, so that's gonna end up being my world at the end. I'm gonna move this light back, see if we can get that a little, okay. Where did my water go? So the first color I'm gonna start with my red. The red tends to be a little bit see-through, which is fine because we can come back with a second coat of red later. Any of these little spirals that we're making, we can come back and do a second coat. Now, all I'm doing is just doing some short paint strokes, and I'm following that pencil line that I made. I'm just following it around, and I'm just thinking about kind of keeping that pencil line in the middle of my strokes, and I'm just gonna follow it around. And I'm actually gonna also go off onto this side. I'm gonna come back. Anywhere there's little blobs of paint, I'm just gonna kind of come back and try to smooth those out a little bit. And like I said, I will probably end up doing another coat of red on this just because the red seems to be kind of see-through. And I want it to be nice and thick. Okay. So now I'm gonna take my next color. I like to go in the rainbow. So my next color would be orange, but you can do this however you want. If you just wanna do warm colors like red, orange, and yellow, that's fine. If you wanna do red, yellow, and pink, red, orange, and pink. If you wanna do cool colors, purples and blues and greens, it's really up to you. It's your painting, okay? I love the way the rainbow colors look with the earth. I think it just looks really cool. So you can see I'm just doing the same thing with the orange paint, just trying to keep that in that circle, just on the edge of the red. I'm gonna go ahead and speed the video up and finish this rainbow spiral painting. You can watch me do it in fast motion, and then I'll come back at the end and give you some tips on Okay, you can see how I started with my red here. Once I got my outside colors, then I went back on the inside and added a pink, and then I went backwards, purple, blue, green, and then it went back to my purple where I ended. Now at this point, I would probably let this dry a little bit, and then I will come back and kind of touch up my colors. So I'm gonna throw a hair dryer on it, and then I'll come back and show you how to touch it up. All right, now I'm gonna go in and touch up my rainbow spiral. It's pretty dry. It took a while for it to dry, which is a nice little break. The first thing I'm gonna touch up is this red because it's actually really hard to see. It's very see-through and it kind of blends into the orange. So I'm gonna put a nice new coat of red right over that original coat of red, and it already looks better. It's really popping out that color. And I'm also gonna go back and touch up some of my other colors. You just have to kind of look at your painting and see where you think you need to add a little color, change the angle a little bit, whatever it is you need to do. So I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna touch up some of these colors, and you should have plenty of paint colors in your kit to do that. Okay, I'm gonna come back after I touch these up, and then we're gonna work on the earth. All right, now I have touched up my, actually I'm gonna touch this up a little more right there. Boop, boop, boop. I've touched up my rainbow spiral. Now it is time for me to do my earth. So I was gonna paint, I think I am gonna paint another white coat, mostly just to get my edges smooth around this circle. So I'm gonna just take a little bit of white paint and smooth out these edges. And then I am ready, once this dries, I'm ready to paint my continents on, and then I can paint my planet Earth. It doesn't have to be perfectly circular because the Earth isn't perfect. All right, we're gonna let that dry and then come back and draw our continent. Okay, I'm ready to draw my Earth. I have this picture. I like to show the side of the Earth that has North America, South America, a little bit of Europe and Africa. Since we live in North America, I like to show that part. I'm just going to look at this when I draw my Earth. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be kind of general shapes. Usually what I do is I make sure I put Florida kind of sticking down, and then that is enough to kind of make that look like the United States. And then I just kind of do a triangle for South America and a triangle with a little curve for Africa, and then there's Europe, and then we'll put, I think that's Greenland up there. You can kind of do this however you want. If you want to add a little more land mass, as long as it's green and blue, it's going to look like the Earth. So now I'm going to take my darker blue color, and I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm gonna paint the, continents first, because I think it'll be easier to paint the blue around the continents. So I'm going to take my small paintbrush. This is where your small paintbrush comes into play. So your small flat paintbrush, and I'm gonna take this green, and I'm just going to paint in, and this looks fairly thin, this green, so that means I'm probably gonna wanna do 2 coats to really get a nice finish with this paint. And I'm just kind of staying in. I also have pencil lines, so sometimes you have to do 2 or 3 coats of paint to cover your pencil lines. So I'm just gonna do my first coat fairly quickly and thin, and then I will add my second coat. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and paint this, and then I will come back and show you the finished product when I have 2 coats on here and I'm ready for my water. All right, I've got my continents done. Now I'm ready for my water, and I have this darker blue just so it kind of stands out from the blue that I used in my spiral. I wanted a little bit different color blue just to kind of make this earth pop off this background. And again, I probably will do 2 coats of this blue. There's no hurry, just take your time and do as many coats as you need. And I'm just going around the edge, making sure I get a really nice clean edge. That's why you're also using this smaller brush, so you can get a little more detail and smaller edges in there. Paint the Gulf of Mexico here. Okay, and I am gonna just quickly paint this. I'm gonna speed up the video, and then I'll come back and show you how to put the little finishing touch on this paint. All right, I've done 2 coats of paint on my continents and on my water. Now I'm going to show you how to really kind of pop this earth and kind of make it stand out from your rainbow spiral. So you're going to take one of your brushes, and instead of using the brush end, you're actually going to use the other end. And you're going to use your white paint, and you're going to dip and dot, dot, and dip, and dot, dot, and dip, and dot, dot, and just keep doing that all the way around, and only do about 2 dots, because otherwise you'll start to kind of run out of paint and your dots won't look as good. And that will really just set that white color, and then going around in the circle around your earth will just kind of set your earth off from that rainbow spiral and really make it pop out. And there you have it, your really fun celebration of Earth Day. So have fun creating, and I'll see you next time. Bye.